Alright, so welcome back, guys. Welcome to your first time here. I'm Vision Hero Partner Team up, and you guys in our video. Today I'm giving you guys my review for The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 18, Find Me. Now, if The Walking Dead is something you're interested in, don't forget to hit subscribe button down below and hit that bell icon. Then I'm some more Walking Dead content from me moving forward. Now let's begin. So, we now got the second of the Walking Dead Season 10 extended episodes, Episode 18, Find Me. Now, this was basically a Daryl and Carol centric episode, and if I'm being honest, I wasn't that impressed. I've seen a lot of people giving this episode a lot of praise and saying it was a great episode, and personally, I just didn't have that much interest in it. I felt like it was mainly all filler. It just didn't do much for me. I understand why Daryl's a fan favorite, and I was really hoping I'd enjoy this, but it just felt like a bunch of filler, and I just didn't really enjoy it that much. It just felt very slow paced, and it just felt like if you didn't watch this episode, you really wouldn't miss much. And that's how I feel. It feels like one of those episodes where you don't have to watch it because you wouldn't really miss much. I mean, you have Daryl and Carol going out for hunting or whatever, and they go fishing, they get some fish, and then they end up finding this cabin, and they end up staying there for, I guess, for the evening. And we also get some flashbacks till Daryl's time out after he looked for when he was working for Rick. Now, I feel like this was good. This was an interesting aspect, and we meet this new character. Her name is Leah, and you can see that Daryl and her kind of grow this bond throughout the episode. You see that this is also where he found Dog, as Dog originally belonged to her, and it was just a very interesting part of the episode. But again, it just felt very slowly paced, and it just felt like filler. I mean, sure, I feel like maybe they could bring her back and do something with her. If so, I will be happy about that. But at the same time, I just don't have faith that she'll ever return in the series. I think this is just a one-off episode. And when I look at these episodes of Walking Dead, and all episodes of Walking Dead, I look at their rewatch value. And will I ever come back and watch the episode? And for this one, most likely no. Most likely probably won't go and rewatch this episode. I don't have any interest in going back and rewatching it. It just felt like filler, and it just felt like there's no point in rewatching this episode. I will give it this. I do like the scenery of the episode. I think that the way they filmed it was really good. Just the overall scenery and everything around there was nice. And I like that we saw different areas of the woods and, everything surrounding Alexandria. We usually see like one specific area, so they, had this, they expanded upon the woods and the wilderness within the outskirts of Alexandria. Now, another big con I have here is Daryl has been out there searching. I think Carol said he was out there for 3 years, and it seems like he's just in one area, and he doesn't ever find Leah's cabin until just when it's convenient enough. And that's my biggest con, is like you see him wandering the woods, and also you see that he has built a camp, so he's not moving that far, which doesn't make any sense. You'd think that he would have been traveling more, he would have gone expanded his search over places, but no, it seems like he's just staying in this one area, which again doesn't make any sense. I would imagine he would expand his search, and even if he was expanding his search, he has his main home base. So if he was expanding his search, he would eventually have to return here for shelter each night, which doesn't make any sense either. So it just doesn't make any sense to me overall, and I just don't like what they did there. And again, I just feel like it just felt too convenient for the whole time jump, for the entire idea that he's just out there, and then it just takes him up until that point to find the cabin and Leah. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, we did see Dog here and there, I think ahead of time, but still, it just didn't make any sense. And another issue that is raised within this episode is the fact that the timeline is has a very plot hole based issue, because this episode took place, the flashbacks at least took place 5 years prior. Now, as we all know, that there was a 10-year time jump in between episodes 905 and 906. Now, I know that has 100% been confirmed by the people of the show. It was confirmed that there has been a 10-year time jump. Plus, you can pretty much tell due to the fact that Judith is like 10, so that makes sense. And so we have the issue there as you go back 5 years, okay. Then, but Carol mentions he's been out there for 3 years. Okay, so that puts it up to 8. And then you get the whole idea that he left following what happened with him and Michonne, and that had taken place a year ago. So that's only 9 years. So you're missing a whole chunk of 1 year there. So I'm very confused there. I feel like there's stuff going on there, and I'm not even sure. I think she might even said 2 years. So that still doesn't add up correctly in regards to timeline. So I really didn't like that. And then you have all these different time jumps. It just became a little bit too confusing. I kind of wish they would have just went away with the time jumps, because it just felt more confusing with the timeline. And I just didn't really like that. But overall, it just felt like one of those episodes that, just didn't need to happen. Like I said, if you missed this episode, you really wouldn't miss much. I mean, they did try to build the relationship with Daryl and Leah. I thought that was a good idea. The only issue again here is it just felt like, since this is one episode, it felt like the relationship was rushed, and it just felt like it was there for plot convenience, and it just needing to build off Daryl's character. Now, there's no issue there, but if they had taken a few episodes and done like something different here, I don't know how they would have been able to do it, but I feel like if they would have been able to somehow do the story where Daryl and her build their relationship more than just one episode, it would have been better. I know we got another Daryl and Carol episode coming up later in the second in these extra episodes, so I feel like they could have expanded it there more, because I think they're going to be more out on the road again. But again, I don't know, so we'll have to see. If that's the case, I think they could have expanded more on the whole Leah and him in love story. I think that would have been a better way to go about it. Now, also, we have him and Carol. Now, him and Carol, and this is another area where I'm kind of annoyed about, is it feels like the two of them are kind of on the outs right now. I feel like by the end of it, I feel like their relationship is kind of, falling apart in a way. It just felt like they were having conflict between the two of them that didn't really necessarily have to happen. And it was just there. I don't know, I feel like in one aspect, it came about due to Daryl reliving what happened. But at the same point, I feel like it didn't necessarily need to have them having a fallout between each other, which I feel like is where we left them off at the end of the episode. I just didn't really like that. And I just feel like a lot of it's just contrived and plot, forced and everything like that. I just didn't really like it. And I get they did do some, callbacks and everything between Carol and Daryl, and Kara and Daryl and Leah, which was cool. But again, I just felt like this was just filler. I do like, again, the scenery, and I love how they had the timeline match up with the solar eclipse. I really thought that was cool. That was something that I really wouldn't expect to see happen, but the fact that they did that was actually pretty cool, because as we all know, The Walking Dead began in 2010, and then I think the eclipse happened in 2017. I'm not sure. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. So it would make sense that would have happened during Daryl's time out there. So I really liked how they added that in there. It made sense, and I really liked the idea of it. Now, overall, though, I just didn't see much interest in this episode. And I know a lot of fans really enjoyed it. It was probably like majority of fans that I've seen actually are praising it, especially the people that are on YouTube, the ones that do reactions and reviews on the episode, who really are hyping up this episode. But just personally, I just didn't see it. I did put a poll out on YouTube and on Twitter, and I saw a bunch of other people putting out polls about this episode, and I feel like a lot of people did also agree with me, saying it was weak. A lot of what I saw was that they didn't really care for this episode. So I feel like it's a mixed area within the fan base. I think some fans like it, some fans like myself were not interested in it. Just felt like filler. So I feel like this is going to be a touchy episode where, again, it'll be divided within the fan base. Personally, for me, I just don't care because I just felt like filler. I feel like if you didn't watch this episode, you wouldn't miss much, which just sucks. I think that they have good potential, and this is one of the issues I had. Is I felt like, and I made a whole video about this ahead of time, is I feel like these episodes are just gonna feel like they're filler episodes and just needing to be there to help AMC recover due to the pandemic. They need to recover and make some money, so they made these extra episodes as a way to help themselves recover due to everything going on with the pandemic. So that's where I stand. I just didn't see it as being that great. It felt like filler and just unnecessary story just to fill in some time. So I don't know. It's just I get where people are saying it was good. I do understand why some people might like it, but at the same time, for me, I just didn't care much for it. And again, like I always say, when I look at the Walking Dead episodes, I always look at how much their rewatch value is. And this one just doesn't have much rewatch value. I'm not gonna come back to watch this very often, if not ever. So it doesn't have that whole rewatch value for myself. The whole Maggie episode has more rewatch value than this episode. So I just don't have that big of I just didn't really like this episode for that reason, along with some other reasons that just kind of annoyed me. I did like Leah's backstory regarding her. I'm in her army background and how she had taken this kid due to who I guess was the kid of one of her fellow soldiers. I did like that aspect. It was a very interesting aspect, and I really liked that. It did build off her character. But again, just don't really care for this episode. It had some good aspects with Daryl and her, but at the same time, I just not going to come back to watch it. So for that reason, it just wasn't a great episode for me. And if I had to give it a grade, I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10. Nothing higher. Just felt like filler. I'm not going to go and rewatch this much. And it has some good aspects with Daryl, Carol, and Daryl and Leah. But it just isn't one that was my cup of tea. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about this episode in the comment section down below. So yeah, guys, that's my review of The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 18, Find Me. As always, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and share. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and hit that bell icon that I miss more Walking Dead content from me moving forward. And you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, which is linked in the about section of my YouTube channel. As always, I've been Vision Hero Born Entertainment, and I'll see you next time.